The Burgundy Wine Region, located in eastern France, is renowned for producing some of the world's most esteemed and sought-after wines. With a history dating back to the Roman era, Burgundy has long been celebrated for its exceptional terroir, which gives rise to wines of exceptional quality and complexity.
In this video, we will look at the overview of Burgundy as a region and dive into Chablis as well.
That's right, we have a lot to unpack here. To start, Burgundy, or Bourgogne, has approximately 30,000 hectares or 74,000 acres, and it produces roughly 185 million bottles of wine a year.
That's a lot of wine.
It sure is. Burgundy is divided into 5 primary AOCs, with many more nested AOCs within them.
So what exactly is an AOC?
Good question. AOC stands for Appellation d'Origine Contrôlée, which is their classification systems for their wine regions.
The region of Burgundy is separated into 2 main regions, Chablis to the north and the main part to the south. The AOC of Chablis actually surrounds the town of Chablis, and the Saône River runs through the middle of the region.
In the southern region of Burgundy, you have the city of Dijon to the north, and it follows the Saône River to the south. Some notable towns here are Beaune, Chagny, Chalon-sur-Saône, and Mâcon on the southern end of the region. The 4 primary AOCs here are Côte de Nuit and Côte de Beaune, which together create the Côte d'Or region. Then to the south, you have Côte Chalonnaise and Mâconnais. Now, let's break down some details of the region as a whole.
The climate of Burgundy has extreme continentality, which means they have hot summers and cold winters.
It sure does. It also has a big diurnal range.
Can you explain what diurnal means?
It means that they have hot days and cool nights. As you head north, the climate becomes cool continental, and as you head south, it becomes more of a moderate continental climate.
So let's talk about the weather hazards. They are rainfall, which can impact flowering and at harvest, spring frost, which can affect the budding on the vines, and hailstorms throughout the summer, which can destroy a vineyard.
There are some ways to combat these hazards. One of which is that the wineries will source the grapes from many different sites within the region. So, if one vineyard was affected by frost or hail, then they can get good and healthy grapes from another site that wasn't affected.
All right, it's time to talk about the key grapes here. The primary white grape here is Chardonnay, whereas the primary black grape is Pinot Noir. Aligoté and Gamay are also grown here too.
There's a certain hierarchy within the AOC system here. These terms will appear on the wine labels. Let me explain. On the bottom step of this diagram is the regional AOC. This is the largest and is usually labeled as Bourgogne Rouge or Blanc. The next step up is the commune or village level AOC. This starts to increase in quality, but decrease in the size of the area. The third step up is Premier Cru. These are higher quality wines. The top step is Grand Cru. These are the highest quality wines from the best vineyards.
Now let's talk about the importance of slopes in Burgundy. The vineyards of Burgundy are on the western side of the river with slopes that face east and southeast.
Yeah, this is a key to the region's success with growing grapes.
That's correct. As you can see in this diagram, the Premier Crus are toward the top of the slopes. This provides good drainage. Next, the Grand Crus are on the mid-slope, which gives them the best drainage and sun exposure and protection from the wind. Then further down the slope is the village level, and then the regional AOCs on the flat land. This area does not have good drainage. The direction the slope faces towards the sun is referred to as aspect. The best aspect here is to face south or southeast.
So in this video, which is part 1, we are going to look closely at Chablis, and in part 2, we will cover the rest of Burgundy.
We should probably mention the term climat. It is an individually named vineyard within an AOC. As stated before, Chablis is separated from the rest of Burgundy and further north. The region surrounds the town of Chablis, in which the river Saône runs through the middle of it. The total planted vineyards of Chablis is 4,820 hectares or 11,900 acres.
The climate is cool continental and is not as warm as its counterpart region to the south.
As far as weather hazards are concerned, spring frost is the major hazard and can extend late into the season.
So how do they combat spring frost?
They have 4 main ways in which to do this. 1. Strategic site planning. 2. Use of sprinklers. 3. Heaters. 4. Wind machines.
The key grape here is Chardonnay, 100% Chardonnay.
Also, it's important to note that Chablis and Petit Chablis are both Chardonnay. The AOC hierarchy in this region starts with Petit Chablis on the bottom step. These vineyards come from flatter, north-facing areas. These are not the prime vineyard sites. Next up is the Chablis AOC, then Premier Cru, and finally at the top we have Grand Cru.
When we talk about soils, there are 2 main types to know. Kimmeridgian limestone rocks are identified as dark chalky marl with layers of limestone and rich in seashells. Portlandian soil is similar, but it has more limestone and less clay. It is younger, harder, and has fewer character-boosting marine fossils.
We mentioned earlier that there is a Grand Cru level. There is actually only one Grand Cru in Chablis that has 7 climats in it. They are Blanchot, Bougros, Lacoste, Grenouille, Prusse, Valmure, and Vaudésir.
What would you say the style of the Chardonnay is like here in Chablis?
It is dry, with high acidity, some minerality, notes of wet stone, some salinity, green apple, and citrus fruit. These wines are usually unoaked, which gives them their distinct flavors and aromas.
So that concludes part 1 of Burgundy.
We hope you have enjoyed this deep dive into this fascinating region.
But we aren't done yet. Stay tuned for part 2, where we cover the rest of the AOCs. Cheers!